Hello, everyone. My name is Brendan, and today I'm going to be talking about the correlation of weather and crime. The correlation of weather and crime is overlooked in many law enforcement agencies all across the United States, um, but it's only overlooked because it's the weather. It's there. Some people just think it doesn't play a factor when it truly can play a factor in crimes. For an example, a criminal has a certain MO to where they only commit the crime during certain things or doing certain things, and one of those certain things could be the weather. So this can help investigators lead them on the right path to where they need to go, and to where they can be like, oh, rainy today, we need to watch out. Or it's like, not rainy today, we don't need to watch out. But obviously, a criminal can change their ways rapidly, so their MO may just be to mislead police or something like that, but it can help prevent crime, and can help lead those investigations the right way. Another thing that associates the weather and crime is the correlation of how it relates to crime rates. We see spikes in crime rates in this area here, upstate New York. Obviously, we see it in the summer, in the June, July, August months, September as well, because we have track season, and that's always more people. But well, this year everything was different because of the pandemic. But usually we have the track season, and Lake George is always busy, and everything like that. And we know that more people are here, and that's why we think the crime rate goes up, because more people are here. But really, it can also be that, but it can be that crime is involved because of the weather. The weather can have a psychological effect on people to where, they may be uneasy, they may be easier for them to get into fights, or sometimes it can actually have an effect on police officers, and they don't want to get into, basically they don't want to get out of their air-conditioned car. There was an article I read that said that most Los Angeles Police Department officers, they try to stay in their car as much as they can on the really hot days. And that's something I didn't really enjoy reading that, because the weather shouldn't matter. You took an oath, you need to do your job. If it's a little hot, it's a little hot, but protecting people is more important than you staying cool, in my opinion. But another thing, though, you can talk about is the environments. The environments these people grow up in. Poor neighborhoods have higher crime rates. And people think it's because, it's a poor neighborhood. Usually crime is always mostly associated there. Not all the time, most of the time. And like a slum type neighborhood. And everyone just thinks this because, poor neighborhood, crime rate, 2 and 2 go together. But not the case all the time. Sometimes you see a spike in it in the summer is because it is a poor neighborhood, but what does the poor neighborhood not have? It doesn't have the proper air conditioning units for the neighborhood. So without that, the people, can't be cool, and everyone's uneasy, and there's the psychological effects again, and it can just, it can really make these people do things that they don't want to do. And more people being out as well is another reason that the crime will go up in the poorer neighborhoods. But the crime doesn't just go up in the poorer neighborhoods. Middle-class neighborhoods or upper-class neighborhoods, they also have a crime rate increase in the summer, and it's mainly because you know, these people, the heat can get, can get to you psychologically. And that's what happens with these people. It just gets into them, and then they start doing things that they know they shouldn't be doing, or things that they know they are going to regret. But another side of the weather, not just the hot weather we experience in the summer, we have the cold weather, which happens, you know, in the colder months. And we also see an increase in crime. Now, it may not be the type of crime, it may be a different crime that we see an increase in. In the colder months, we see an increase in domestic violence and domestic abuse, or rape, or sexual abuse, or anything along those lines. And we see that because, well, colder weather keeps people in more. And if you stay in more, you know, a lot of people can get uneasy, and then, you know, everyone, you know, you can start fighting, or, you know, whatever happens, they get all cooped up, and some of these people just feel like their personal bubble's being invaded, and then they just snap, and then you can't really do much more with that, though, because, you know, like all police officers, you know, you're just waiting for the call. It's unfortunate you get the call, but you're just waiting, so you can't really prevent stuff like that. There was actually a huge increase in domestic cases this year, and that's mainly because of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's unfortunate that had a increase like that on all societies, but it did. But, you know, we try to prevent it as much as we can. Domestic Violence Awareness Month this year actually took a stand on that and said that, you know, these people being cooped up in the homes, again, that can play the psychological factor, but you know, in the winter, though, you see the increase as well, because if it's like 10 degrees outside, or it's a snowstorm, you know, no one wants to go outside, and you get all hot and bothered, basically, even when it's cold out. So now, another thing I'd like to get into is there have been studies conducted in big cities like New York or Chicago by Drexel University that showed, you know, there's higher crime rates in Chicago and New York and Philadelphia in the hotter weather. But the main thing here is I picked this topic is because it is something that's overlooked. By no means is it as serious as any of the other topics I've seen for this class, but this is definitely something I think that can be interesting for people to learn about, and it was interesting for myself to learn about, for sure. I mean, I wasn't thinking about criminals' modus operandis or anything like that when I picked this topic. So I've learned a lot from it. I hope you have learned a lot from watching this, and thank you.